All right. So we've cleared the first part of the goblin camp, and at this point, you should have leveled up. I certainly did. So since I'm running a Shadow Blade build, I'm going to take Savage Attacker as the feat. That just kind of compounds the advantage that we're going to get, particularly once we get the Resonance Stone, which is going to make a big difference going forward. Generally, I don't think too much about the spells. I like to pick up maybe an AoE spell. I like to have invisibility. Invisibility can be useful during some of the missions later on. Also, I like to have the cantrip Light, if I hadn't already mentioned that. That's useful when you first go in the Shadowlands. Other than that, I think you can pretty much just get the spells that you want, the ones that you like. I think Chromatic Orb is incredibly useful for getting rid of the little floating eyes that alert everybody to your presence. Those guys are annoying, and you can only damage them with thunder damage. And Chromatic Orb seems the best way to deal with them. Shatter is another way you can deal with them, and then, of course, Thunder Wave. There's a lot to loot out here. There's a couple buried treasures. And then if you have somebody who has high strength, you can jump around on the walls. There's some arrows and some potions up there. I didn't do the chicken chase on this one, but I have done it before. It helps if you can talk to animals in order to do that. Looks like I sent... Who did? Oh, I sent Shadowheart up here. That's right. She's a barbarian, so she has a lot of strength. It can be difficult to jump back. It's just kind of finicky because there is a bit of a wall on the tower. But I got it. There's a little bit of a challenge in this area as well when you want to fight the rest of the goblins. Crusher, in particular, tends to glitch out if you don't approach that fight exactly right. I'm not exactly sure what causes him to glitch out, and maybe that's why I keep having a problem with it. Once again, I'm going to go around, I'm going to pick up all the healing potions that are just sitting around, because if I don't, then the goblins will, and they'll use them, and that'll just kind of be a waste. So for the purpose of this one, I guess I'm planning to use a barrel to take out these goblins. Sometimes I have a lot of success using Thunder Wave because you can hit all 4 of them with it, and that seems to correctly aggro Crusher. But I'm going with a barrel this time. So I'm going to try to hit with the fire arrow, at least hit Crusher. But it looks like he glitched out anyway. So because he glitched out, he just stands there and heals himself whenever the game is programmed that a certain amount of time equals a turn. And so it can be a little annoying to try to kill him at that point. I'm not sure if you could get him in combat with dialogue or something. I'm sure there's a way to do that more gracefully. These guys tend to run away as soon as you kill or attack one of them. You can mitigate that by throwing like a firebomb in there, and then they won't want to move if you really want to kill them all. I think they're only worth 1 experience, so it's not super important to do that. It's not even important to make them run away. I just... the game will stop you from looting things if there's somebody nearby who has a problem with it. So I just chase them off in order to get rid of that. There's a little cache up here behind the waterfall. You have to be careful. There's a tripwire right in front of the crag that you climb up. But it's pretty easy to just walk around, so I don't ever really bother to disarm it anymore. But just taking one character down here, I think is the way to go. Get that buried treasure. I usually only keep a shovel on the character that I create, so usually I try to do everything with that character. There are traps guarding this treasure chest, but if you have somebody who can't jump very far, you can jump kind of on the right edge and then jump again. Or I took Shadowheart because of her high strength and just had her jump the whole thing. And then if you have a high strength character, they can just toss the treasure chest up onto the ledge above like she did. There's another buried treasure up here. Sometimes it has some nice elixirs in it. And it's random. So I got some food that time, and I think the elixir of poison resistance is going to come in handy. Instead of climbing down, I just used the map and jumped to the waypoint for the camp. I do that more and more the more I play the game. And then I'm going to move around up to the top where there are some drunk and sleeping goblins, and I'm going to get rid of them, taking a moment to brew some potions. With the drunk and sleeping goblins, what you can do is they have a wine barrel right next to them, and if you position that correctly, you can blow up the wine barrel, and it will kill both of them before they can alert the bugbears. Alternatively, if you're using a Shadow Blade, you can just hit them while they're sleeping, and it will deal max damage and kill them immediately anyway. You can't one-shot the bugbears, though, so this is going to start combat. But now all I have to deal with are just the 2 bugbears. As with all bugbears, these hit hard when they do hit, so you want to try to get them off the board as quickly as possible. I don't have enough damage on me to take this second one out, so he is going to get a chance to hit, unfortunately. Looks like he missed, though, so that's wonderful, and I get a free hit because of that. But on the downside, he shoved Lae'Zel off the wall, which did a little damage to her. We'll have to heal that up. Sometimes the pathing is weird, so I couldn't just group my people up because Lae'Zel wasn't figuring out how to get back to us. This Booyag up here on the wall, he's a little weird. He usually just runs away, and it can be difficult to fight him. Now, the thing that I always forget is that you can just put the game in turn-based mode, and that will stop him from moving so that you can aim your spells. You see, I was struggling there to aim, and I didn't get it done, and he ended up disappearing. He has a book on him, My Life Among the Conquering Host, I think is what it's called. It's written by Baeviellel. You can keep it in your backpack, and if at any point you don't have any inspiration points and you need one, you can pull that out and read it for an inspiration point. That's really the huge benefit to killing the Booyag. I like to cause this boulder to roll down because it does a crazy amount of damage and it pretty much hits everybody, depending on whether or not you wait for people to get lined up. And then it's just a matter of clearing these in the front. If you don't take out the drum, then they will aggro the other goblins. And I think the other consequence is that the goblins on the inner camp will be hostile towards you. Not 100% sure if that's true, though. But either way, I strongly recommend just take out that war drum. That's a high priority. Make sure they can't hit it. So with the war drum out of the way, now it's just a matter of taking out the rest of the goblins. They can do a significant amount of damage, or they can just miss. Goblins are kind of crazy like that. If you don't position well up on the rock where Baevielle is, that goblin will try to push you off. And he typically succeeds, so that can do a lot of damage to you. Same thing with these goblins coming up on the scaffolding here. If your people are positioned vulnerably, they will try to push them off, which can be kind of a pain. So it is important to get your positioning right. as much as you can. And then since one of the things I like to do is make sure that these fights are done in such a way that I'm going to take as little damage as possible, so that I can use less health potions and less rests. Just more efficient in every way. So even though the fight would be over in less rounds, if I brought the characters down and smacked these claws with my sword, I'm just going to use spells and ranged attacks on them, because they cannot possibly hit me as long as I'm up on the scaffolding and up on the rock. They don't climb. So that's really the whole thought here, is just I don't want to risk taking any damage. Taking damage uses resources, which I don't want to. Some of the game pathing is a little awkward, though. As you can see, I clearly could just shoot down onto the small claw, but for some reason it wasn't letting me. So finding that specific spot that I needed to stand in was a bit of a nightmare. And then here, I just sort of carelessly clicked on the claw, and it caused her to walk down the stairs, which is always frustrating when that happens because you can't stop it. Usually the pathing is uninterruptible. So if you end up using up all your movement on pathing that you didn't intend to do, then you'll be stuck. One of the weak spots of Baldur's Gate as a game, in my opinion,